Hey folks, this is Waylon Lewis. I'm at home in my slightly messy house in Boulder, Colorado, drinking my first sip of coffee. And I just realized this is probably too far for me to read comments, so let me move this a little closer. Today, excuse the view of my... So normally we are super pro because we're hosted by all the wonderful people you'll find in the comments. Today I kicked them all out, so it's just me in my living room. All right, so I think we're live. Are we live? Can anyone hear me? All right, jolly good. So I thought if it's okay, today instead of yes, let's say height. Height is how I grew up in the Buddhist community here in Boulder, and it's just Japanese for yes, H-A-I, exclamation mark, and it's just got a great energy. Height. All right, so are we okay with that? We'll say height if you get something. Awesome. And if you don't get something, say no, explain it, please. So would people here, we have an hour, we have 58 minutes. We don't have to go that long if we're bored, but I don't think we're going to be bored of all your wonderful questions. So are people up for a minute of meditation? That I think will kind of ground us, because the subject here is about fear and about bravery and about vulnerability and about taking a leap, but not taking a dumb leap, taking a leap into a better situation. So if you're okay with a minute of meditation, say hi. And if you're not, we don't have to do it, because I know you all got busy stuff to do. So that reminds me, a Buddhist teacher, wonderful, powerful woman, Khandro Rinpoche, who I grew up with, would always say that she and her Tibetan nun community, they would all make fun of Americans particularly, but Europeans, I think too, just Westerners in general, because they would always say, how are you? And we would always say, I'm busy. I'm super busy. Things are really busy. I'm super busy. As if we're proud of our busyness. So this hour is an opportunity for you to take a deep breath and sink beneath the busyness into a big, hot bath of Epsom salts and thinking about your life and your career and your love and your family and your hopes and your dreams and your fears. This is a chance for you to get beneath all of that daily busyness and actually say, where am I going? Are we in? All right. So if it's busy, I can see if it's pretty clear for me. Is it blurry for others? If it's blurry for you, you may have to restart your computer, or maybe have bad Wi-Fi, or maybe it's my fault if everyone says it's busy. Okay. So meditation, take a great posture, the best posture you've had all week. And then take a really good posture, almost extremely good posture, like an embarrassingly good posture. Everyone? Well, I can close my Slack if more people are saying it's blurry. All right, that's all I can do. So I've refreshed. Hopefully, maybe it's a crowdcast issue, but let's just focus and relax. If you can hear it, that should be good enough. All right, so take a good posture. Take an extremely good posture, like a Wonder Woman, Superman, good posture, and then relax. Are we with me? Now, whether your eyes are open because we're welcoming the world. So in this particular meditation practice, eyes are open. Just breathe in and breathe out. The point of this particular meditation practice is simply to ground and connect with your own life and with the present moment. If you find yourself distracted, maybe it's blurry, maybe you're busy, maybe you're excited, maybe you have coffee, maybe you have kids, maybe you have friends, whatever your distraction is, notice it with your awareness. As Suzuki Roshi says, it is wisdom, which is seeking wisdom. So your own noticing is your own wisdom. And return your attention to your breath. So just follow your breath with your attention gently in and out. Nothing is happening, and that's okay. If you notice yourself thinking, just say, ah, I'm thinking. Return your attention to your breath. And now this is the part that connects with what we're going to do today. Just bow to yourself, to your life, to one another, to everyone around the world here. And say, may it be of benefit. Okay. So that's it. Meditation. We just had our little moment. So why I wanted to do a moment of meditation is because the Academy and Elephant are not Buddhist, but they are about coming into the present moment and about being of benefit. So meditation, right livelihood, which we're going to talk about today. Right livelihood is doing what you love and being able to pay the bills doing so. Who here wants to do both of those things? Not just one or the other. So here's why right livelihood is actually important. It's not just for you. It's so that you can be of benefit. Who here realizes that when all we do is work to pay the bills, often that's harmful to ourselves, it's harmful to our families, it's harmful to nature, it's harmful, we're exploiting our relationship if it's all about money, is exploitative of human resources, of the world resources, right? It's why we choose to do things that maybe aren't good for the planet, because we got to pay the bills, right? And then the other extreme, like my mom was a teacher, wonderful, wonderful teacher. She loved what she did. She was so good at it. She was so good for other people. She never made more than $12,000 a year. And growing up, I saw her stress and I saw her sadness when she couldn't pay for, Christmas presents or even food. Sometimes we would live on just rice and popcorn, basically, the cheapest bulk items. But we had a very rich life at the same time because she was a Buddhist practitioner. She taught schools. She was broke. We lost our house. We didn't have a car. We didn't have a TV. We didn't eat fancy food. We just ate very simple food. So it was very rich. And at the same time, it was very poor, right? So if all you do is what you love, that's also not necessarily good, right? It's actually a virtue to bring those two together, to do what you love and make a living doing so. That's super obvious, right? To all of you. I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but it's still good to reflect that we need both, right? Yin and yang. Right livelihood is actually more than that. There's a couple more. You have to, and this is where it gets helpful and a little bit, you won't hear this everywhere. It's the Buddhist teachings. Right livelihood is one of the eightfold noble path out of suffering. So you have to be good at it. So I might want to dance ballet, right? Maybe someone is crazy enough to pay me for it. That's actually not accurate. That wouldn't happen. But let's say I love it. I can make money doing it. But if I'm not good at it, that's not good enough. So you have to think, what do I love doing that I'm also good at that could pay the bills? Maybe not pay the bills today, but pay the bills practically, right? Because we're going to talk about Elephant Academy is training you in the skills that you need to make your hobby your full-time career, or to invest in your present career so that it's what you love, not just paying the bills, right? I mean, and I'm sure many of you all here love what you're doing and are paying the bills. How many people are relatively content or happy in your livelihood right now? Because I want to discuss that too. You can take that up a notch or two or three. Is anyone here relatively happy in your career, in your work, in your daily work? Yeah, so Mars, that's what we're talking about, like with my mom. She was happy, but she only made $12,000 a year at her peak. And when you only make that much, you're not truly happy because you're stressed out by money, you're stressed out by your rent, your mortgage, by food. There's a stress, right? Jen, you definitely can't. Well, Jen works for Elephant, so I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, and Jeremy, that's the other extreme, right? You make good money, but you're miserable. So life is short and precious. We have a blog on Elephant about the Buddhist 4 reminders, about carpe diem, about one of my favorite movies, Dead Poets Society, which is on Netflix. I recommend you watch it tonight. It's super inspiring. So um, the subject for today, and I'll go over specific questions. So if you click and ask a question, I'll go over your questions. But the subject today is, how do you get over that fear and kind of go for it? Is that the subject? How to deal with the fear of change and make money doing what you love. So I grew up super poor. I was a kid in the 90s, studying journalism. I wanted to write. I loved writing, and I wanted to make money writing, so I could pay the bills, because I'd grown up poor. I didn't want to be poor. So I knew what I loved doing. I knew what I was good at, which was writing. And the other part, so what are you good at? What do you love? What can pay the bills? There's more to Right Livelihood. What is a benefit? Because if you're good at killing people, it pays the bills, and you love doing it, it's probably not a good thing to do, right? It's got to be good for the world. It's got to be of benefit. So this is all super obvious, but that's actually a good sign, because it kind of means it's true. You know how cliche is cliche because it's been said so many times, because it's true. So this stuff is just very ordinary. It's not necessarily Buddhist wisdom. It's just ordinary wisdom. Julie says, I am just at the beginning of my path, ending my bachelor's education this summer, but that's really not what I want to do. What do you really want to do? And if you're not sure, that's okay. Say that. So Gina, relatively happy because I try to bloom where I'm planted, but I'm toast. My kids don't get the best of me. So that's a wonderful comment, Gina, because you want to be able to have time for your children, for your loved ones, for your world, for your community, and for yourself, to take care of yourself. And I think it's really important to honor people like Gina and many of you who are working so hard, so many hours, and it's not some pie in the sky dream career, right? I'm not here to talk about a dream career in some pie in the sky way. We're actually talking about how to do it, how to get there. That's what Elephant Academy talks about. And for everyone who is in Crowdcast in this live training, we're going to offer, if you are inspired to do Elephant Academy, you'll have a special discount. So if you're watching on Facebook Live, we have tens of thousands of people watching on Facebook Live. You got to look in the comments and get into Crowdcast to get that special offer. But we're not here to do a TV commercial. This is really just practical stuff. So, Aaron, I also feel trapped in the standard career type life and the lifestyle I've built around it. It feels very constricted. So, Aaron, I was like that for years. I was hand to mouth. I was working for a company that I loved, but I didn't totally feel like my best skills were being used. And I didn't really feel respected by my boss, even though I loved him. He was a great mentor. He respected me as a friend, but not really as a colleague, right? I was a young kind of up and comer, but I wasn't good with having a boss. Maybe it's authority issues. So I wanted to do my own thing. I often said all I could do was be an entrepreneur. But it's also important for many of you to remember, you don't have to be an entrepreneur to do this right livelihood thing. Right livelihood, which is the Buddhist notion of doing what you love, what you're good at, that pays the bills, that's a benefit, can be in any job. You can be a artist, you can be a plumber, you can be a painter, you can be in construction, you can be a teacher. It can be anything, as long as it's not harmful. So how do we get out of that cycle? There's a lot of skills here. The number one is you need community, right? Community is going to mentor you. Community is going to answer your dumb questions. I always get irritated when people say there's no such thing as dumb questions. I know it's well-intentioned, but I have nothing but dumb questions all the time. I'm the boss of a relatively big and successful business that I'm proud of, but I have dumb questions every day of the week. So you need a community for mentors to be able to ask all your dumb questions. And then, I call it the Kickstarter generation now. I did a Kickstarter for my book. I don't know if it's around. I wrote a book, and I couldn't afford to. I printed it on my own because I wanted it to be eco. I wanted to distribute it myself because I wanted to do it in the most eco-responsible way. I wanted to print locally to create local U.S. jobs in a safe environmental environment. And I did all that because of Kickstarter. So I reached out to my community. All of you can learn through Elephant Academy, and we can talk about it today, the skills to build a community, not through hype, not through taking selfies of yourself every day. Nothing's wrong with some selfies, but Instagram is like full of them. But just building a connection in a genuine way. The powerful thing that we teach in Elephant Academy and Elephant is so many people are yelling for attention, right? PR, marketing, they're nothing but hype, 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 pushing, noise, TV commercials, Instagram, sponsored posts, all this, right? Is anyone here sick of all this noise, all of this sound and fury from the PR marketing world? If you are, then you have a huge opportunity to do something different, which is to be genuine, to talk and to listen, instead of this sort of, I don't want to bash on the patriarchy. No one's sick of it. One person's got to be sick of it. Say hype if you're sick of it. Only if you really are. If you're sick of all that noise and hype and selling people all the time, and it's not even good for our planet or good for one another, you have an opportunity to do something gentle and genuine and personal and direct. And when you do that, people hear it. It's like a different sound from a beautiful flute, right? And where everyone else is just yelling, and there's something sort of patriarchal in a bad way. Patriarchy can be good, matriarchy can be good, both can be bad. The patriarchy gets a bad rap, as in some ways it should. There's something very patriarchal. We're pushing, we're like trying to dominate, we're trying to make noise all the time. So if you're just different, genuine, personal, direct, you can really connect with people, and then they'll support you, they'll care about you. Yeah, Kathy. So let's talk about that. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, if you disagree with stuff, I'm happy to discuss that. Lucy, I am on disability for a neurological condition. Got caught up in a cycle of self-diminishing. Now I'm trying to discover the stepping stones to expansion into my right livelihood. So Lucy, the first thing I would say to you is to thank you for your, your openness and your, you've got we all have different paths, right? Your path has had some serious challenges, and anyone who's trying to sell you something would say, well, you just do this, you do this. The first thing you have to do from a genuine point of view is Maitri. Maitri, Maitri, Maitri. That's the Buddhist word for making friends with yourself, for being gentle and good to yourself. When you do that, you get to know yourself and you make best friends with yourself. It sounds like you're on a good track there. And then the natural, as they say in Buddhism, the flower unfolds, the flower opens. The natural unfolding of making friends with your situation, whatever your situation is when you make friends with yourself, the natural expression will be to find your way to connect. Maybe it's to help others who are going through that kind of situation, right? So anyone who comes in and says, you have this, or if you do this to yourself, I want to do this dream job and to hell with all my responsibilities, that's a sort of aggression toward yourself, and that's not going to be helpful. Janet, I am looking for an outlet to share now that I am at a later stage of life, but feel the fear that no one wants to hear what I have to say at this age. My generation is not as tuned into social media as the younger set. Janet, I honor that. So we have a lot of people in Elephant Academy who are older and a lot who are younger. These skills, some of them are about social media. I will say that my mom, who is 73 or 74, she never wanted to be on Facebook. Facebook has all kinds of problems. I don't blame her. I said, hey, get on Facebook. You'll see so many photos of me. You'll be sick of me. But she always wanted updates on me. And now she's sharing all her activism and environmental stuff and articles she's reading. Anyone can do it, but you don't have to be on social media to do this, Janet, at all. Right livelihood was taught by the Buddha 2,500 years ago. There's no need to be on social media. So I'd love to hear more questions. How are you looking to find? Also, I have to really disagree with you. We do want to hear what you have to say at your age. There's nothing more delightful and more liberating and more enlightening than when I get to be around elders. There's a huge need for that. There's programs that bring together children and elders here in Boulder so that both can benefit from each other. So you are needed, and that fear that you feel is totally understandable, and I wouldn't discount that. But I would say that I am, at least personally. Is anyone interested in what Janet might have to say about her experience, her life experience, and thinks we could learn from her? If so, say it in the comments. If so, then there is a right livelihood. There is a service that you could do, and it's a worthwhile service, and you can find a way that people can pay for that, because people pay for whatever they value, whether it's, say, Apple or a conversation. All right, there's a lot of comments. So if I'm missing the comments, I'm going to start only going to ask a question, I think. But thank you for all the love to Janet. You know, Janet brings up another thing, which is a lot of our fear is based on isolation. So again, reach out to community and you'll see how much support you have, Janet. And I don't think any of that is fake, I hope. I think it's all like people really are longing to connect. There's too much isolation between generations in the West. When you go to other areas of the world, you see all these generations together. I remember being in Italy briefly, my only time. And you see the, 3 generations are together all the time. All right, I'm going to ask a question. Here's a wonderful one from Kev. I'm in conflict between the idea of pursuing my passion while still fulfilling my obligation and responsibilities to my family. My situation is unique since I work 80-hour weeks, it's a lot, for 2 companies for the last 5 years. But I can see myself at the beginning of next year saying, I'm done, I can't do it anymore. I need to live and pursue my passion, a passion that I believe, and I've had signs reveal I am meant to do. That leads to a deep financial hole to fill. How do you balance that? So, Kev, thank you for your question, because that question is the entire reason that Elephant Academy exists. You can't, so we say take a leap, but you can't just take a leap, right, Kev? You got to be able to pay your bills, take care of your family. But taking a leap is more of a spiritual notion. Like you have to just say, okay, I'm going for this. Kev, I hope you're going for this. So you have to just at some point say, I'm going for this. How do I get my ducks in a row so that I can transition whatever I see myself doing that can pay the bills, how I can get there? So what are the steps between here and there? For me, it was Kickstarter, it was social media, it was writing, it was offering something helpful. But there's so many different ways to do it. And I'm happy to get more into depth in that if we can have more of a, if you have a follow-up question, or if we can have more of a personal conversation. But I will say I've worked, 90, 80, 70 hours for many, many years. There's an exhausting level to it that takes you away from family, from friends, from exercise, from life. At the same time, I really honor the hard work you're doing. That's really, it's powerful stuff that you're doing that much work. So I don't want to discount that. All right, Kelly, and what do you do if you don't believe in yourself? Sorry, there's so many comments everywhere. From Kelly, and what do you do if you don't believe in yourself enough that you're good enough at certain things you enjoy doing to even make good income, such as going to all the trouble only to find out you should have picked something else because you really are not good enough to make it? Don't you really need someone to be honest with you and tell you if you are really talented at XYZ? Yes, you definitely need mentors, you need peers, you need colleagues, you need honest friends, but at the same time, it sounds like you're a little split about which way to go. And that's why we talk about how to take a leap. You have to just step through. In Buddhism, they say, have confidence to go beyond hesitation. So you're never going to not feel that tenderness or that fear or that excitement or that nervousness, but you have to step through it and go for it. But you need to do so intelligently, because you do need to pay your bills. Again, we're not talking about some sort of idealistic pie in the sky thing. That would mess up your life. We need to find a way that you can do it in a way that it might be hard, it might involve a lot of work, it might involve some sacrifice, but you can get to a place where you're doing what you love and paying the bills. So the general sense I'm getting from your comment is you need to take a little bit more time for meditation, for Maitri. If we can put that Maitri link in the comments, and really just feel like, Kelly, I'm a worthwhile person. Not from the point of view of like self-help or something, like really just like make friends with where you're at and who you are and how to step forward. Be really gentle to yourself. At the same time, you've got to push yourself, and you got to be your own best friend. Be honest with yourself and tell yourself if you're talented in which ways, find those ways, and then how to go forward. Amanda, what tangible logistics have worked in the past for you when managing the everyday mundane obstacles of making the change? Who's picking up the kids? How's that particular bill getting paid? How do I transition from working solely for someone else into working for various clients? Working for someone else full time can be right livelihood. That can be perfect. But if you do find yourself wanting to be a contractor, be independent, and have a bunch of different clients, it's a fantastic time in history using very simple tech that anyone can access to do that. That said, there's a lot of advantages. There can be benefits to having a full-time job. So you know which way you want to go. And if you don't, again, community, asking questions, and really listening to yourself. Yeah, is there an app for that? Exactly. There are apps to help you manage your time, to help you, but the main app you're going to need here is you're going to need a path. You're going to need community. You're going to need people who can kind of coach you along the way. And you're going to mainly have to be inquisitive, just being curious. I know all this sounds too general, but it's just, we only have an hour. There's, we're kind of on a general level, and we can get deeper and more specific. That's kind of what we do in Elephant Academy, but I'm happy to get more specific. But you're asking the right questions, in that you still need to take care of your responsibility, pick up the kids from soccer or whatever it is, while balancing how to grow your little hobby into a bigger pie, so it can, at some point, you can jump from the career that you're not satisfied with into that hobby. Shannon, how do you overcome the fear that you will pick the wrong thing to work? I often hear about finding your purpose, but how do you decide that? At midlife, I'm distraught at not having a clear purpose reveal itself to me. So how does one decide or select a new direction without destroying themselves financially? So Shannon, keep doing what you're doing so that you're fine financially. But while you're doing that, think. It's understandable, and it's actually kind of inspiring that you're distraught. That's a powerful word, because you have a longing. We all have that longing to find what your thing is. So what is your thing? What are you good at, Shannon? What are you good at? What do you enjoy doing? When I was thinking about that, I thought about when I was in summer camp leading these big squads of children. And we're kind of like march around and do various competitions and community stuff. So obviously that could become my job. I could be a summer camp counselor, right? But that's not what I got from that. Is I enjoyed working with big groups of people to accomplish tasks. So think, what are you good at? What do you enjoy doing? And then what could pay the bills? So I thought, well, I love writing. I love this summer camp stuff. So big groups and writing. So I created a platform for a big group of people, many people, including many staff, 34 staff, to work together to be of benefit, and that would pay my bills, that would pay their bills, and that would help this world that needs help, right? So you have to kind of say, what are the essential elements of what I enjoy doing that's helpful, that I can turn into a career? What would I enjoy doing with my life? And in my way of life, I've run into so many people who have weird, nutty jobs where you're like, do they seriously getting paid for this? Do they seriously get paid for this? There's so many dream jobs that people figure out how to do just because it's needed and no one else is doing it, and they have those weird skills to do it. Yeah, Mary, that's a fundamental point of today. I hope that's not getting lost. We started with a moment of meditation. Mary says, my local Shambhala group and meditation has helped me so much. There's Shambhala centers in every town and city in the whole world, pretty much, where you find meditation, but not self-helpy meditation. Meditation is very simple, about establishing, grounding yourself in the present moment, in sanity, in your own basic goodness, and then you will naturally get to know yourself and find what your path forward is. And again, Elephant Academy can help with that path, with that career, with that community, with the skills you need to communicate and connect and get more clients. Or, if you're a yoga teacher and you're not making enough money, how do you make that a big career? If you're a massage therapist, a lot of careers have the same need, which is to connect with people in a genuine way and be able to pay the bills and be a benefit. All right, I hope this is at all helpful. Is this at all helpful, or if I'm off track, I can address that? People say something in the comments. It's a little bit of a empty room here for me with my coffee. Okay, Because my main fear today, Lorraine, Margarita, Kev, Sandra, is that this sounds like stupid pie in the sky advice. Like, you know, that expression, it's easy to say, it's harder to do. I don't want to give you BS that's going to be bad for your life and bad for your career and bad for your abilities to pay for yourself. So the curriculum, Linda, can you talk a bit about the curriculum at Elephant Academy? The curriculum is 4 separate stages, all with the foundation of mindfulness. So we have mindfulness teachers come in to help you get to know yourself, make friends with yourself, and kind of find your thing, right? What is your thing? When I say, what is your thing? So just right now, chill out, take a breath. What is your thing? What do you want to do? What are you good at? What are you good at that is of benefit, that could pay the bills? Maybe not pay the bills right away, but pay the bills relatively practically and quickly. What do you think of? Maybe you don't think of a specific thing, you're still trying to find it. But if you think of something, let's go for it, right? Because life is short. Read that, I don't know if we put that blog in the comments, but it's called Death Comes Without Warning. It's actually a very inspiring blog. It's about Dead Poets Society and Carpe Diem and the Buddhist 4 reminders, which are about life is precious, it's short. How can I be of benefit? Let's put that in the comments. Yes, Gina, exactly. These are big questions. How does one overcome fear? You overcome fear by being willing to step into the fear, right? Fear is like a wall of fire. There's certain fears that are rational and you shouldn't step into, right? I have a fear of heights. I'm on top of a cliff. I don't think I should step off that. That's a rational fear. But we're talking about fears that hold us back from being ourselves. So that's, instead of just like taking a leap in a macho way, you have to get to know yourself and then just be brave. Just be vulnerable and open. And that's so hard to do, right? Does anyone have a problem being a big, dorky, awkward, vulnerable mess? Anyone have a problem with that? It's less of a problem when to embrace vulnerability, as Joe says, if you've grounded yourself in maitri, in tenderness and in friendship toward yourself, right? If you're friends with yourself, you can be a big dork, and that's okay. But if you're not, you're going to be judging yourself. Yeah, there's a question from Jackie on Facebook. How do you find, if you're on Facebook, come over to Crowdcast first of all, because we're going to give you a, only for this group, we're going to give a little offer for Elephant Academy if you're inspired. But Jackie says, how do you find out what you're meant to be doing? So that's sort of the whole subject of today. But basically, there's a lot of need in this world, right? There's urgent need. If Mother Earth could talk, if society could talk, we would say, we need help. Please help. We need people to show up in a genuine way and help, not through aggression. How many activists, whether they're vegans or liberals or conservatives or whatever, go out there and create more aggression and more confusion? We need people to go out there and be activists with gentleness and with love and with listening, not just this sort of patriarchal like aggression and self-righteousness. Do we think the world needs more self-righteousness? Anyone? So getting back to the curriculum, you guys are sort of quiet sometimes, or maybe it's on delay. Yeah, I think it's on delay. Begonia, thanks. Mary Heckno from Marcy. There we go. So I want to answer the curriculum. So in Elephant Academy, we do a session on social media, and that's for anybody. How to connect in a genuine way, not by selfies and all this sort of self-obsessed stuff. Again, selfies can be fine, but not on balance, right? So how to connect through social media and bring more clients in so you can sell a book, so you can create a career, so you can have a dog grooming business, so you can, whatever your thing is, you can get people and clients in. And that applies to almost any career. Writing, how to write in a genuine way that transforms your relationship with yourself, that alleviates stress and anxiety and fear and confusion. It's cathartic, but at the same time isn't emotionalism, that is genuine and helps others. Editing is the single most overlooked and best way to become a good writer, and you need these skills to be able to connect with clients and create success in your job. And then journalism ethics, which is probably even more overlooked than editing. In journalism, bad journalism isn't journalism. Journalism is the pursuit of truth, and it's always open to improving and changing its mind. It's very similar to science in that way. So journalism ethics, which may sound boring, but it's literally, I think, the favorite section. The Elephant Academy people who are here can say what their favorite section is, maybe. But journalism ethics is almost always the favorite section of everybody, and they had partially because they went in with no expectation. Like, why are we even learning this? So it informs everything we do. So we're not creating more fake news. We're not creating more self-righteousness. We're not creating more inaccuracy. We're literally just genuinely helping people. And that's what Buddhists call enlightened society. That your income is based on what you love, what you do, and based on helping others. Helping them be their best selves, too. Not their best selves, but their true selves. And then the foundation of all that is mindfulness techniques, like meditation, being a benefit. And we bring in really amazing mentors. Some are famous mentors. Some are not famous at all, like my mom, read by professors of poetry. We bring in amazing people. My mom is like probably the most popular of all the famous people, and all the not famous people. She's more popular than me. I'm angry to note. She was a writing teacher, and she is a Buddhist meditation teacher. All right, I hope I'm not missing too many things. Yeah, so Gina, that's a great point. So one of the tough things Gina says for folks in my position is that there are a lot of resources in education, coaching support these days, people doing what they love and making a living right there. And it's a chicken and egg thing. Can't pay for the coaching. We'd like to springboard into change toward right livelihood. And many of us have already paid for a lot of training and education to get the cred we need to make the leap. If you haven't made the leap, though, you need something else. So what I would say is, yes, there's a ton of great stuff out there. There's masterclass, there's all kinds of online education. It's a real golden age of online education, right? It's the Wild West. But in any golden age, any Wild West, there's a lot of BS out there. There's a lot of people who are just trying to make money. Instead of charging a lot of money for Elephant Academy, we keep it at $850. We're going to lower the price for those of you who are in here today. And yeah, I totally agree. So Gina just added, some of my mentor friends have said, stop with the training, just start doing. I would say, yeah, at some point you have to take the leap, right? But on the other hand, Gina, when you feel that tension, like no more training, I just need to go for it, you can also just relax with that. And that's where the meditation comes in. Relaxation, ironically, is a way to be gentle to yourself, get to know yourself, not gentle in a bad way, gentle in a like, let's listen to where I need to go, because this is an important thing. And sometimes instead of forcing yourself, like, oh, I'm late, I got to rush, I got to jump, just relaxing in that moment is more powerful, and then go for it. So, there's a certain aggression to say, I'm late, no more training, let's go for it. At the same time, sometimes you need to take that leap. Who knows best? You know best. In Buddhism, they say, always trust the principal one. So listen to yourself. And again, you got to listen to yourself. And the way to do that is, again, meditation and community can help you do that. So where was I? All right, Jana. This may not be the right place to ask this, but I'm 63 and at a loss of finding something to sustain myself. I can't work a 40 hours, I assume, week due to a back injury, but I'm a whiz at fixing computers. I tutor seniors computer skills, but it's hit or miss work. So you really need to just find more work. You're doing what you love. You're damn good at it. It works okay for your back injury. So find a way where you can do it on your own terms so you can stretch or move as you need to with your injury. You just need more clients, and that's getting the word out in a genuine way. What does genuine mean? I keep saying that word. Instead of trying to sell people stuff, you just offer who you are and what you do, and you find a way to connect that with what people need. It's incredibly simple, but it's not done that much. Usually it's all PR, marketing, sales. And then Gina, other than relaxing, instead of forcing yourself forward, I would say first relax, then force yourself forward. So instead of being like, I got to do something, I've spent all this money on training, I'm late, let's go for it. That's not an energy that's going to get you there. Say, do that exact same thing. I'm late, I don't know what to do, I've spent all this money, and people are saying I should just go for it. Okay, and then dive. And you'll find yourself diving and leaping in a different direction than if you do it out of like the rabbit in Alice in Wonderland, right? I'm late for a very important date. No time to say hello, goodbye, I'm late. Ah! That's not going to get you there. That'll get you somewhere else. And that's losing time. As carpenters say, measure twice, cut once. So take your time to measure and then go for it. Where were we? Oh, and Gina, I did want to say, we very deliberately we've been encouraged by experts in the field to double the price of Elephant Academy. Elephant Academy is $850 for 3 months. And that's with small groups. TAs and small groups will support you every hour of every day. That's probably the funnest part of everything. Then we have live meetings and discussions, and mentors come in once a week. Then we have all kinds of curriculum. Then you have the opportunity to actually practice live through Elephant Journal, writing on Elephant Journal, publishing on Elephant Journal, managing Elephant Journal social media. That's optional. We don't care if you do it. It's more work for us, but you get to actually practice with we have 5 million Facebook fans. We have 555K on Instagram on 4 accounts. We have 60 pages on Facebook. We have #1 in the country on Twitter twice for environmental coverage. I'm talking a lot. The coffee is taking effect. The point is, you have a big platform that you can actually work with and learn how to connect with people genuinely. And then you have an LMS, you have a learning management software with quizzes, with points. You can get competitive about it if you like, I like. And it's fun. We have so much learning in there, there's no way you can handle all of it. Thank you, Molly, for the encouragement. Probably missing a lot of questions. I'm just going to keep going through the questions and answers. Okay. So Barbara, I love your question. It's a simple one. I hope you're still here. How do you figure out what you love and do it when you're a single parent living paycheck to paycheck? My mom did that, right? So that's a really important question. Even if it's very short, it's probably one of the most profound questions. It is the question. How do we find out how to do what we love when we have responsibilities? So basically, I look at it as like this. You're in a boat. The boat is paying for stuff, barely. Or maybe you're making a ton of money and your boat is a yacht, but you're not happy for whatever reason. So you want to get over here. So what you do is you keep doing this while you build this up. You build up your Huckleberry Finn and Jim raft. You build it up with pontoons or whatever until it's stable enough. You have your your food over here and your little roofs for the rain. You build it up while taking care of this. So there is going to be a sacrifice. There is going to be a stress. Yeah, I think we're going to put in the promotion or the deal for today. I think we can put it in now for Elephant Academy, but it's only on the Crowdcast link. So if you're in Facebook, you need to come over to the Crowdcast. I think we should have put that info in the comments. And there are very, 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 very limited scholarships, which are actually paid for by Academy alumni. Thousands of people have done this. This isn't some like crazy thing. I mean, it's a crazy leap that you can take, but it's pretty fun. I have to say the Elephant Academy is probably the funnest thing we get to do and that our community gets to do, because there's real community. So Barbara, it is going to take stress. It is going to take doing 2 things at once in a way, but you can gradually build up your hobby. Say you love knitting and or needle point, and you want to build that up into a thing. So we'll teach you how to build that up, whether it's Etsy or what, so that at some point you can like literally step over onto your raft and get rid of this boat and take care of your responsibilities on the raft. You have your dream raft, you have your dream job, you have your dream path, and you can pay the bills. Paying the bills is important. I grew up poor. I do not discount that. We're not talking about some airy, fairy, fruity, loopy thing here. We're talking about practicalness. Barbara, I'm so glad you're here. Big love to Barbara. Let's all give Barbara a big hug. Give her some emoticons. Because if you're a single parent living paycheck to paycheck, I pretty much love you. Thank you for doing it. Because I had like the best mom in the whole world, and I'm sure you're the same. And I saw that it was hard, right? It wasn't always hard. There was a lot of love, there was a lot of fun, but it was hard. So keep things simple, simple food, simple responsibilities. Don't spend more money than you need to. My mom took me to free library movies, hikes. We did everything free ever. We just went through the activity things. And it was a rich life, right? We didn't have a car, we didn't have a TV, we didn't have chips or pizza, pigs in the blanket, all these weird things that my friends had. We didn't have a microwave, but we had a good, simple life, a great, simple life. But there was a lot of stress there, so it's still important to find a way to get to a point where you can, eat your gluten-free organic cake and have it too, whatever the expression is. All right. I'm a Reiki master and spiritual healer and preacher. I love my work and adore seeing its results, but struggle to make a living from this. Any pointers? Franklin from Facebook. So Franklin, you're the exact kind of person, I don't know you exactly, but I just know what I read, that Elephant Academy can benefit, because you're doing something that you should be able to charge good money for, 85 bucks an hour or whatever, usually for like acupuncture, massage, therapy, whatever. All you need is more clients. So we teach you how to communicate and get more people in, and communicate in a genuine way, not in a poverty mentality way, not in a hungry ghost way. Communicate in a way it's good for you. Good, good, good. But, if you don't do Elephant Academy, basically the main thing I would say is connect with community. If you don't want to be on social media, there's real community out there. You can do flyers. You can do whatever you like. But do things that are cheap or nearly free. And then I don't encourage advertising on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. Like, really connect with community. And then social media. If you're open to it, we can teach you a way that it's not going to ruin your life and make you do stuff you don't want to do with your life. That said, work is work. Work is sacrifice. Work is hard. Okay, great question from Lorraine Flood. I'm at a crossroads in that I may have to decide whether to go back home to Ireland, which I would love to, or stay in New York, which I also love. Sounds great. I love this question. I want to do both. I very much want to get back to a more mindful way of living instead of the corporate race I've been sucked into for years. But the fear of taking next steps into the unknown are filling me with serious anxiety, and I can't trust my gut. So that's where the mindfulness of Elephant Academy and Foundation comes in. You first, before thinking about doing this, what are your options? You need to first deal with that anxiety and be able to trust your gut. And a lot of that involves community. A lot of that involves reading Pema Chodron in the bathtub. A lot of that involves so community, Pema Chodron in the bathtub, meditation, Elephant Academy if you so choose, but finding resources and finding Maitri, finding a way to connect and get through that anxiety and find a way to listen to yourself, exactly what you just said. How do you follow your instincts and gut if it's feeling so off? The offness is just anxiety, which is fear, not just. That's a serious thing. But you need to breathe that in instead of pushing it away. So there's a Buddhist practice of Tonglen that I love. Tonglen is breathing in all the hard stuff and breathing out relaxation. So it's the opposite of what our ego wants, which is to push away, challenge, and to cling on to what we love. But Lorraine, the question is the answer, right? So at some point you're saying, I very much want to get back to a more mindful way of living instead of the corporate race I've been sucked into for years. So there's your answer. You can either make friends with the corporate race and invest in that and find a way to enjoy that more, which we can help with, or you can find your way toward. Or if you really do want to take that leap into a new way, build that raft up, right? And then transition over there, and we can help you with that, or you'll find your way to do it. Matt, namaste, Waylon. Namaste, Matt. Thanks for this great offer to the community. Do you know of somewhere that right livelihood, as you described, is defined or discussed by Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche or another Buddhist teachings? If you search right livelihood on elephantjournal.com, you'll find 8,000 things on it. You can also search, we can put it in the comments, Matt. You can also search Ikigai, which is the Japanese notion. It was just on our Instagram recently, if you look around, but it's do what you love, do what you're good at, do what's of benefit, do what pays the bills. And then it's like a Venn diagram in the middle of what joins all those things. And also, I mean, just, you can't go wrong reading all of Chögyam Trungpa Rinpoche, and a lot of it will connect with how to relate to your life. Like I was just rereading Dharma Art on Elephant Journal last night by Trungpa Rinpoche. And it's, it's a talk about art, but he talks about how art is your life. Art is your life. Art isn't something you do on a piece of paper. I mean, it is that, but art is your life. How do you relate to your life? He said, how you put a stamp on an envelope reflects your mindfulness, reflects your approach to your life. How you drink a cup of coffee. So the notion isn't that you do everything in a self-serious, weird way, that everything's spiritual, but that you're slowing down and taking the time. You can be fast, you can be slow. There's nothing pejorative about either. But the notion is you slow down if you're speedy, and you wake up if you're out of it and slow. So Matt, I could talk about Trungpa Rinpoche forever. Trungpa Rinpoche, Pema Chodron, if all you get out of today, go to a used bookstore, buy Trungpa Rinpoche and Pema Chodron, or you can search them on Elephant Journal. Cody, I hate the role. So we have 8 more minutes. So I don't know, Academy people, tell me what you want me to do, but I'll just keep going through questions. Cody, I hate the role I'm in at my company, and I don't really have the option to move into a new position because it's a small organization. I love the company and the people I work with, but feel like I'm at the end of my rope and can't handle much more. How can I leave the company and the people in a good place while still taking care of myself and my needs? And how can I continue to work in a position that is starting to drive me crazy while transitioning to a career I want? Cody, you've got it. The way you wrote that question is so personal, so direct, and so helpful. You don't even need Elephant Academy. You're genuinely communicating. So just do that. Say, copy paste what you just wrote and send it to your colleagues, or have that conversation. There's a chapter in my book about love and relationships that says, I want to hear from you when you are confused. So stop bottling it up, Cody, and just express it. Say, I want to leave you in a good place. I love this. I never want to leave, but I need to grow. I can't grow here. So I feel like I'm at the end of my rope and I need to move on, I think. And they might say, no, you don't need to move on. We actually have growth for you. We have level up. But if they don't have that to say, they'll say, well, thank you for your service. Thank you for expressing that. We want you to leave us in a good place, not just run off. Here's how you could do it. Here's how we can make your work manageable. If you have a good relationship, it sounds like you love your job and the people you're with. That should be kind of no problem. So you just got to open up. Cody, big love. Anyone here, give Cody a little heart or a hug or something, emoticon. That stuff may sound silly, but it's just encouraging, because if everyone can be like Cody and go from not quite content with your 8 hours or 10 hours or whatever a day to content and being of benefit, this world will be a better place. All right, so I really want to put this offer in since we only have 6 minutes. Can we do that, Elephant Academy folks? It's the offer only for people in Crowdcast. If you're over here in Crowdcast, if you're in Facebook, you should be able to see the link. Can we do that? Molly, Kenny, Emily? Because Elephant Academy, basically, there's only 1 week left to jump in, 7 days, I think. And it's super fun and it's super hard and it's super challenging and it's super worthwhile and it's pretty darn affordable. So let's make it happen. Oh, you'll get an email. Okay. So look in your email. Boom. Is anyone here thinking about the Academy, have specific questions about the Academy? You have doubts, you have excitements, you have questions, you have practical anything? Okay. Mary, I feel that my vocation as a nurse is my right livelihood. Great, but my job is not my true calling. Oh, the problem is I have advanced in my career and have only worked in the neonatal ICU. I feel that I could be of more help to the human collective being a nurse. In another way, it is hard to leave the security of a job to do something else. Where do I start? So again, it's like just visualize yourself. You're in a boat that you like and you feel good about it, but it's a little leaky. So you got to build up this raft and get the skills to transition. Some of the skill is just getting to know yourself, listen to yourself. Sounds like you've already done that. And being willing to take the leap. Sounds like you already know that you want to take that leap. And then finding, do you need education? So you would kind of have to tell me. Oh, you have a follow-up. My boss and fellow coworkers want and pressure me to take a director job, which fills me with dread and my mind screams no. If I take this job, I would have a secure livelihood, but I no longer feel I would be helping people. Don't do it. Mary, don't do it. Don't do it. Forget it. First of all, it's a compliment. They want you to be the director. That's a compliment. Feel good about that. But don't do it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. When I was in those summer camps, I loved working with the children directly. It was so fun. I miss it right now. But one level promotion above that, I'd be in charge of staff, not the children. And I never wanted to do that because my joy was working directly with the children. So don't do it. You're in a similar position. Find a way to, make money directly connecting with clients. I don't know enough about that, but you do. But we can help with the skills or the questions or the community around that transition. All right. Should I be doing anything else? Because I know we're wrapping up in 3 minutes. All right. Trina, I'm 50 years old and I have a need for community. I love to be with people, yet I feel that I have moved myself to outside sales. That is a cold calling. Thanks, I do need community. I have always been successful, yet I don't know what my next career will be. I feel alone. First of all, you are alone. Make friends with that loneliness. Second of all, you're not alone. You have community. So reach out. Just you're asking that question is reaching out. So reach out. Be okay with the aloneness, but connect. None of us here are truly alone. We're all our own person. We're independent. We're alone. But community is made up of a whole bunch of lone people connecting in a genuine way. That's kind of what my book is about in terms of love. So big love to you. 50 years young. I mean, you have plenty of time. So if you're successful, great. But now you want to make a transition to successful and meaningful. And that is so powerful. All right. I think we're at time. If you have any further questions, maybe just do Elephant Academy and we can discuss them for 3 months. I'm sorry, there's so many questions, but thank you. So I hope this was helpful and not just pie in the sky BS. Everyone here say, in one word, say helpful, stupid, confusing, awesome, hype, whatever. Leave me with some sense, good or bad, happy or sad, if this was good. And it doesn't have to be one word, but pretty quick. We have 1 minute. Okay, good. So far. And if it wasn't helpful, I totally love hearing that. So I can connect in a better way. All right, folks. Follow my advice. Make friends with yourself. My Tree. Read that blog. Read Pema Chodron and Trunk Rinpoche in the bathtub. Gift from the Sea is also great. Do something like Elephant Academy or connect with community. Find a community where you can practice the skills to transition from A to B. And B is a beautiful place to be. All right. Thank you. Let's all take a great posture. Take your best posture of the day. Connect with the earth below. This is a meditation you can do in 1 second anywhere. Connect with the earth, the groundingness. Feel the earth. Feel the sky, the heavens above, extending infinitely. Breathe into your heart, your lungs, and your shoulders. And with respect and friendliness to one another and yourself, give it away.